Finding mistakes in Peppa Pig has now become a favorite hobby of ours, and in today's video, we're going to share some of the mistakes with you all. Like in the episode Trampolines, Peppa and her friends head to the trampoline park, and right when they reach the park, we can notice that Susie is wearing a blue-colored boot. But the mistake is, right when they are taking off their boots to jump in the trampoline, we can notice that Susie's boots are now purple. Honestly, Peppa Pig animators love changing the colors mid-scenes. Now these next mistakes are really funny. In the episode Science Museum, Peppa and the entire playground visit the Science Museum, or should I say the Mistake Museum, because this museum is filled with small mistakes. Right when the playgroup enters the museum, if we zoom into Miss Rabbit, we can notice a photo frame behind her. But the mistake is, when scene zooms onto her, the photo frame is no longer on the wall. And that's not all. Later in the episode, we can notice Grampy Rabbit doing some sort of weird science experiment. Now look carefully. After Grampy Rabbit mixes the solution, he puts the vessel on the shelf beside him. But the mistake is, moments later when they are moving to another section of the museum, we can notice that the vessel isn't there anymore. Maybe Grampy Rabbit put some magic chemical inside the vessel, which made it disappear. In the episode Ballet Lesson, when Peppa arrives at school and starts dancing with her classmates, we can see Danny Dog jump to the left side and off the frame. But seconds later, we can see him appear on the right side. It seems like Danny Dog can do teleportation, and it isn't the only mistake in this scene. Let's look at Danny Dog closely. We can see his ears are together in this scene, but the moment he appears on the right side, his ears are apart. There's a significant gap between them. Now that's a weird mistake. At this point, we've lost the counts of mistakes that we found in Peppa's room, and now let's lose the count even more. In the episode Mr. Skinny Legs, Peppa and George are playing with the dollhouse, and behind Peppa, we can notice there's a wall of the dollhouse, but the mistake is, moments later, the wall behind her simply disappears. Seriously, the wall vanished into thin air. In the episode Bedtime, during the intro, as always, we can notice Peppa's house, and on the right side of her house, we can also see the sun that is about to set. But the issue is, when the scene zooms in towards Peppa's kitchen, we can notice that the sun is still on the right side of their house. But when we enter the kitchen, the sun can be seen through the window. This makes no sense. This is a logical error. In the same episode, when the pig family is having dinner together, if we look at the dinner plates, we can notice that only George has finished his food. Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, and Peppa have yet to finish theirs. But moments later, when Daddy Pig says he's tired, we get another shot of the dinner table, and if we look at Peppa's plate, it's empty. I don't think Peppa was able to eat the entire plate in one bite. This is definitely an error. In the episode Once Upon a Time, Peppa is reading a story to George, and if we look at the room, we can notice various items scattered randomly, and right behind George, we can see a cat drawing, and right under the cat drawing, we can notice a toy car lying upside down. But the mistake is, right when Mummy Pig enters the room, the toy car disappears. Even if we look at the entire room, it cannot be found anywhere. Seems like the toy car drove onto the sunset by itself. In the episode Daddy Pig's Birthday, Peppa, George, and Mummy Pig are preparing a surprise for Daddy Pig. In one of the scenes, we see that while Peppa and George carry buckets of water, Mummy Pig leaves the house with a total of 4 balloons. But when the family finishes tying them to the tree branches, we see a total of 6 balloons, 2 more than what we saw in the first place. It must have been a balloon multiplication miracle, but there's still a mystery involving these same balloons. Notice that when Daddy Pig arrives and is taken to the spot, the balloon colors are different from when they were just hung up. Specifically, the yellow and pink balloons suddenly change places. Maybe these balloons are magical. Now this next error is really interesting. In the episode The Balloon Ride, Peppa and her family go to a town fair. In the fair, Miss Rabbit is hosting a lucky draw, where the winner gets to ride the hot air balloon. Now in this scene, we can notice that, beside Miss Rabbit's stall, there's a hot air balloon, and beside the balloon, there's nothing. But the mistake is, when Peppa wins the lucky draw, we see them taking off in the hot air balloon. Notice there are 2 flagpoles beside the balloon. But earlier, we clearly saw there was nothing beside the balloon. And that's not all. There are more mistakes in this episode. When Balloon is flying high in the sky, Peppa starts singing a song. Now let's zoom in a bit. Here we can see Peppa is in between Daddy and Mummy Pig. But the issue is, when the scene zooms onto Peppa, all of a sudden, she's now standing on the corner with no one behind her. And also, here we can see an anchor rope in front of Peppa. But moments later, when Peppa accidentally drops her teddy, we can notice the anchor rope has now disappeared. And there's more, when they go to rescue Teddy, we still can't see the anchor rope. But moments later, it magically appears in front of Daddy Pig. Seriously, it seems like this hot air balloon is magical. Now this next mistake is really weird. In the episode Captain Daddy Pig, Peppa and her family borrow Grandpa Pig's boat and head out for a day on the river. And in the scene where they are cruising on the boat, let's look at where Daddy Pig is standing. As we can clearly see, Daddy Pig is standing on a plain deck, right? But the issue is, moments later when Peppa says she's hungry, a hatch magically appears near Daddy Pig. But earlier, we clearly saw there was nothing. Maybe Daddy Pig said some magical words to make the hatch open. Moving on, in the episode George's New Dinosaur, we noticed a quick mistake. In the scene where Mummy and Daddy Pig are trying to make Peppa and George go to bed, we can notice a moon through the window. But the mistake is, in the next frame, the moon disappears. Maybe the moon is playing hide and seek. In the episode Playgroup Star, Peppa wins her first star for making a wonderful drawing of her house. But Daddy Pig realizes that he has never won a single star and is determined to solve the problem. Moving on to the moment when we see Daddy Pig going to the attic to get a drawing of a dragon that he made when he was a kid, we notice that beside the box with a blue bag on top of it, there is a painting leaning against it with a chest behind Daddy Pig. Then, Daddy Pig finds his old school folder, and we see that first the chest has disappeared, and then we see that the painting is no longer beside the boxes, but behind Daddy Pig, which certainly doesn't make much sense, since Daddy Pig didn't touch the boxes, only his old school bag. And that's not all. In the same episode, the next day, we see the children take Daddy Pig's drawing of Dragon to their school. Here we see several drawings on the school wall, each with a star on them. Notice that there is a butterfly drawing, a carrot, and a small tractor at the top. When Madame Gazelle finally gives the star to Daddy Pig, we notice that the drawings have changed their order and arrangement. The tractor drawing is now right below the butterfly, and the carrot drawing has been moved to the side. Now this next error is really funny. In the episode The Playground, Peppa and George are at the playground with their friends. In one of the scenes, Daddy Pig gets up on the slide, but he gets stuck while sliding down. Poor Daddy Pig. But that's not the mistake here. To help free Daddy Pig, Peppa and her friends get on the slide. Now look carefully at the order here. First it's Peppa, then Susie, Danny Dog, Candy Cat, Rebecca and Pedro. So far so good. But when they successfully free Daddy Pig from the slide, they go down it one by one. But the mistake is, when we see the slide again, Rebecca Rabbit isn't there anymore. And that's not all. When the scene switches towards Daddy Pig, we can notice Rebecca Rabbit jumping from the slide. But the issue is, earlier she was sitting behind Candy Cat, but here she jumped before him. How can it be even possible? So, these were some of the errors we found in Peppa Pig. And as always, we'll see you all in the next video.